Hello people, and welcome to my channel. PSVR 2 launched on the 22nd of February and Gran Turismo 7 got its highly anticipated VR mode. I've been playing non-stop using my brand new Fanatec GT DD Pro wheel. Please don't tell the wife. But how does it stack up against my previous favourite racing game, Razer's amazing Automobilista 2 on PC VR? That's what I want to talk about today. Two heavyweight sim racing games slugging it out for pole position. Who will win? Well, you'll have to watch the video to find out. So let's get straight into it then. And remember, we're born to respawn. I know exactly what's going to happen in the comment section of this video. A load of PC elitist sim racing snobs with adenoid problems are going to point out to me at length why Gran Turismo 7 is not a sim racing game and is therefore no fun. If you are one of those people, and please go suck the life out of someone else's channel, because I want to focus on which game is the most fun, which game looks the best, sounds the best, has the best force feedback, has the best VR integration, and yeah, how much fun are they to play? For reference, I'll be playing Automobilista 2 on my PC, which has a Nvidia RTX 2080 Ti, i9 9900KF, and 32GB of RAM. I will be using my Pico 4 via virtual desktop as the main PC VR headset. I will be playing Gran Turismo 7 on my PS5 using my PSVR 2, obviously. I will also be using the Fanatec GT DD Pro steering wheel with my GT Omega racing seat for both games. Ready? Let's get stuck into Automobilista 2 first then. This game was released into early access back in 2020. Based on Slightly Mad Studios' Madness game engine, it had an immediate feeling of being the actual successor to Project Cars 2, instead of the underwhelming and much maligned Project Cars 3. Some people will see that as a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you feel about Project Cars. Me, I played a lot of Project Cars 2 and immediately fell for Automobilista 2's charms. The structure of the game is similar as well. The race menu screen gives you single race, championship, multiplayer, test day, official events, and a time trial mode. All cars and tracks are unlocked on startup, so there is no grinding or in-game currency to worry about. Just jump into your favourite car, go to your favourite circuit and race. Very simple and straightforward. Gran Turismo 7 launched on the 4th of March 2022 to a mixed bag of reviews. Some claimed this was the strongest entry in the franchise since the halcyon days of the original, with its iconic soundtrack, groundbreaking handling and incredible visuals. Others criticised the game for including microtransactions along with some stupidly overpriced cars that did require hours of grinding to afford. The PSVR 2 upgrade for GT7 was free and dropped on February the 22nd, 2023. The structure of the game is more controlled than Automobilista 2. The main focus is the cafe, where you unlock the menu books. These generally ask you to tackle 3 races, and you will get rewarded at the end, usually with a car, or later on, a higher tier lottery ticket. As you progress through the story, you will unlock other icons on the map, which in turn deliver a different experience. From the tuning shop and GT Auto, where you can modify your cars almost endlessly, the used car garage, Brand Central and Haggerty Legend cars, where you can spend your in-game credits to buy some shiny new metal. The world circuits, license centre and missions, where you will race your shiny metal. To the more abstract scapes and showcase, where you can photograph and display your cars, limited only by your imagination. Moving on then, which game looks the best in VR? On Automobilista 2 with my mid-tier PC, I had to do a lot of fiddling to get the stable frame rate that would allow up to 20 cars on the grid at one time. Once I'd achieved that, I think the results are pretty good. The game looks nice, the weather and nighttime effects work extremely well. Charging into Paddock Hill Bend at Brands Hatch while 19 other cars snarl, backfire and slide about is incredible in VR and helps immerse you into the experience of being a race car driver. However, the cars can look a bit flat with limited reflections, shadows and reduced trackside detail. Now, I'm pretty sure that if I had a RTX 4090 that I would be able to pump those graphics to their ultra settings and it would all look photorealistic, but that's a fair chunk of cash that I just don't have. Gran Turismo 7 on the other hand is plug and play, no graphics settings to mess about with, it just works. Those twin OLED HDR screens make everything look absolutely incredible. Buttery smooth frame rate, deep blacks, very shiny reflections, amazing locations and insane trackside detail. But I can hear the naysayers firing up their adenoids with cries of "blurry happiness and reprojection. Right, now, so before you do, please listen. My PC cost nearly £3,000, plus throw in the price of my Pico 4, and you're looking at £3,400. My PS5 and PSVR 2 cost £999.98. That's less than a third of the price, and my belief is that the PSVR 2 outperforms my PC graphically, and when you're in the heat of battle, I don't notice any of those perceived weaknesses. So that's a win for PSVR 2. For reference, I use these Soundcore VR P10 wireless earbuds for all my VR. They can be used on any device that has a USB-C port and give excellent sound and decent-ish battery life of about 6 hours. So, which game sounds the best? Automobilista 2 deals almost exclusively with racing cars, big, angry, snarling machines that only have one goal in life, and that is to get from A to B in the quickest possible time. They are all noisy engines, screeching tyres, howling exhausts, overlaid with the whine of a differential. It is hard for a Honda Fit hybrid to compete with that, but the actual racing cars in Gran Turismo 7 sound just as awesome, so for me, that's an honourable draw. Which title has the best force feedback? The Fanatec GT Diddy Pro is specifically designed for the PS5, but is basically a Fanatec CSL DD, with a Gran Turismo branded wheel included. It's also fully compatible with PS4 and PC via a quick button press. Out of the box and plugged straight into the PS5, the GT Diddy Pro gives a very subtle, detailed and yet powerful force feedback experience. Bumps in the road, rumble strips and an errant puddle catching a wheel when it's raining are all relayed back to the driver in a realistic way. It is especially noticeable when riding the high curbs at Brands Hatch or maybe tipping a wheel into the sand while powering down the corkscrew at Laguna Seca. I've actually got into the habit of letting go of the steering wheel if I lose control and am careering towards the Armco because the impact could potentially strain a thumb. Automobilista 2's force feedback is more... how can I describe it? More violent. I felt that the overall feedback was crisper with better information reaching my fingertips and definitely stronger kickback over curbs and rumble strips. It was a subtle difference and I had to jump back between the two games to notice, but it was there for me, so Automobilista 2 just edges the force feedback. Next up is VR integration. Both games are pretty seamless when it comes to VR. Both games are basically flat screen until you start racing, then they will switch to their default VR modes. Automobilista 2 has a nifty gaze feature for navigating the menus and has a comprehensive fine-tuning tool for getting your seat position absolutely perfect. Gran Turismo uses the default flat screen in-cockpit view, albeit in VR. Unfortunately, this means that you're sitting too close to the dashboard in most cars. Not a problem in your run-of-the-mill shitty Euro hatchback, but once you step up into the racing cars where you need to see the rev counter and what gear you're in, it's a massive problem. Every time I start a race now, I have to quickly pause the game, sit forward and slightly up, reset the screen, then resume the game. It's a massive oversight and a complete pain in the arse. So, just for that, Automobilista 2 wins the VR integration. Before I get to my conclusion, please hit the like button. The algorithm loves the likes. Plus, if you have enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing or joining my channel membership for custom badges, emojis, and exclusive game key giveaways on my private Discord channel. Thanks. So, which game is the best in VR? As always with my channel, there is no straightforward answer. Automobilista 2 won 2 categories, drew 1, and lost 1. So it should be the winner, right? It is a great game with plenty of full-blooded racing cars, tons of real-life tracks, full practice, qualifying, and extensive race day tweaks available. Something that Gran Turismo lacks, absolutely. In GT7, you always do a rolling start, you are always right at the back, and there is no chance to do qualifying or even have a practice before the race starts. So it then quickly comes down to barging away to the front of the pack before you run out of laps. For example, at Mount Panorama, just after you've started and have rounded Hell Corner, the leaders are already at Griffin's Bend, nearly half a kilometre away. Which is frankly ridiculous. The AI opponents in Automobilista 2 are tough, real tough, especially if you run them at anything over 90% skill. If you start in 10th place, you are probably only going to make a few places by the end of the race, but it can lead to some enthralling races against well-matched opponents. Gran Turismo's AI is dumb as mud. Even on the pro setting, there are no other words for it, because you start at the back. In every race, you are surrounded by slower cars. They brake in weird places, try to block you at every overtake, and generally just get in the way. As you progress, the opponents do get better until you reach the last 3, which are usually piloted by decent drivers and give a good account of themselves. Automobilista 2 is a racing game with race cars at its heart, brilliant and brutally difficult at the same time. So why am I going to pick Gran Turismo 7 over it? GT7 is about cars, car culture, and is more akin to Pokemon for petrol heads. Gotta collect them all. Despite all my misgivings, I haven't played any other racing game since PSVR 2 dropped in February. I spent tens of hours working through the menu books, racing online with pals, collecting cars, fretting over the perfect photograph, and designing gaudy liveries for my race cars. It has just absorbed me into its warm, friendly cloud of petrol fumes, and I just can't stop playing. Is it the perfect racing game? No, it isn't, for the reasons I have listed. But if, like me, you have petrol running through your veins, this is the best Gran Turismo in a decade. Plus, as a little bonus, I've already stated my PC cost nearly £3,000, plus another £400 for a Pico 4. The PS5 and PSVR 2 are the cheapest way to get into racing in VR at only £999.98. As always, though, what do you think? Would you pick Gran Turismo 7 over Automobilista 2? Have you compared any other racing game to GT7? You know the drill. Get involved and comment down below. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the other side.